The Street Corner Soapbox. The Street Corner Soapbox with Falso and Willin. Podcast takeover. We're making a killing. Music to nightlife. Debauchery and street news. Serving it hot. We are some street news, movies and mayhem. The craziest guests, word from chaos. Get it off our chest, Rhode Island, worldwide, dark corners in all places. Speak how we live, radio show, smoking aces. Ladies and gents, for the people we're talking. Take the show on the road, right where you're walking. Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Street Corner Soapbox Podcast coming to you live.
That's right, boys and girls. Street Corner Soapbox. Now, we all know during this crazy time with the pandemic, businesses are struggling. So we're here to support local businesses, and we need your help to do so also.
That's right. So subscribe to our Patreon, become a member to help support the show, and receive exclusive episodes and bonus content, as well as discounts on merch. That's patreon.com/streetcorner_soapbox2020.
Follow us on our website, streetcornersoapbox.com.
That's right, boys and girls. We are back. Street Corner Soapbox. I'm here with my brother, Lord Willin.
Yo, what's the deal? What's going on? Got a good show today.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Lord Goat, a.k.a. Goretex, is in the building via phone call. What's going on, bro?
Yo, what's up, brother?
Not much, bro. How you doing?
Maintaining, you know?
No doubt, man. Thank you for coming on. I'm a longtime fan. Came up on Non Phixion, and it's great to have you on.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yo, I appreciate that. Word up. That means a lot.
No doubt, man. You guys have definitely been an inspiration for me personally, and I'm sure, you know, a whole bunch of other people are definitely a staple in the independent hip-hop scene for years, so it's really dope to have you come on the show.
Word. No doubt, man. I appreciate that, you know?
Yeah, man, and the new album's fire, by the way. Yeah, man. The new album's crazy dope, man. Final Expenses with Stu Bangas. Make sure you go out and get that.
Yeah. Cop that. Yo, I appreciate that. Word up.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So, why don't you get into your background a little bit? The early days of getting into music, hip hop. I know you're also a big heavy metal fan and rock and roll and stuff like that. So maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you know, I got into hip hop probably like maybe 7 or 8 and shit. You know, me and my mom used to go out to the mall in you know, on Long Island and stuff, and you know, I would see records that just came out, like Rapper's Delight. And that was like the hottest record in the street at that point. So, you know, I grabbed that record, I brought it home, and I learned all the words. I was like, yo, I really got to do this. It was just like this, you know, I just had this vibe. I was like, this is the best record I've ever heard. And, you know, it's like 12 minutes long. So it was definitely, for me, it was super, you know, it was super brutal. So from there, you know, my cousin who was from Long Beach, he was like a DJ and stuff. And he was a little older than me, but he had all the records, you know, Planet Rock, you know, all the B-boy stuff. He had the old breaks. And you know, he was a big influence as far as, you know, musically and, you know, even fashion. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, and shell tops. And, you know, that was an influence, all the 5 elements. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Straight, you know, that 5 elements of hip-hop for those that don't know. So at what point did you start getting into like rock and roll and heavy metal and stuff like that? Around the same time?
Yeah, I mean it's almost neck and neck, really. But I mean, the first stuff I really got into, I think, by myself was shit like stuff like Blondie and stuff.
Okay.
You know, like my dad. You know, before my dad split, he left a bunch of records and stuff, and I kind of discovered them, and there was just a lot of good shit in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, stuff like Sid Barrett and stuff like the first 2 Black Sabbath records, stuff like, you know, I mean, all sorts of heavy stuff. You know what I mean? Blue Cheer, the first Blue Cheer record. That stuff was highly influential, but, you know, as far as hip hop, it was neck and neck. You know, like when I moved to Glenwood, as soon as I moved to Glenwood, it was like all those new records that came out were, you know, hip hop staples that was coming out, like Follow the Leader, you know, Rakim Follow the Leader just came out in that, you know, that summer, you know, that I moved to Glenwood. So it was just, that was a huge influence.
At what point did no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so when did you really get into the metal scene though?
I mean, the scene, probably I was like 11.
Really? So young?
Yeah, probably 10 or 11, because I was trying to, you know, I got heavily into journalism at that point.
Oh, really?
Like, like music journalism and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just like, 'cause I was, I constantly collected all kinds of magazines and shit. I still got tons and tons of magazines, but, at one point I wanted to be a writer.
Oh, really?
Write about music.
So you had aspirations to get into that?
Yeah, I was, so as a kid, a lot of those demos that were coming out, like Metallica demos and all those old demos, like I was kind of on that. I used to tape trade with a lot of people back then.
Yeah, definitely.
From there, the whole tape trading scene just gradually built into just, like a lot of my friends started bands, they wound up, some of them wound up blowing up really big, some of them are obscure, some of them still just play underground brutal music from the heart. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And that's all it's really about. So,
Were you going to a lot of shows at that point, hip hop and metal?
Yeah. I mean, one of the first metal shows I went to as far as something brutal, I think was Anthrax '86 or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That was like, I think we were like 11 or something, and it was me and Ill Bill.
Wow, that's dope, man. I mean, my first show ever, my first real show was Metallica, and I was around the same age when I saw them.
It's a good show to start.
Yeah, man. It was a little later on in their career, you know what I'm saying? But it was still a sick show.
That's still dope.
Yeah, man.
I never, after all these years, I still never seen Metallica.
Really?
Show.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I mean, they killed it, man. They fucking killed it. It was I forget who opened, but it was good. And so I relate to what you're saying because I came up kind of similar. With hip hop and rock right there, from my old man listening to classic rock and all the shit that he listened to, and then for discovering hip hop. So
no doubt.
I definitely relate. Now, were you also a fan of like hardcore and punk rock and stuff like that?
Of course.
Word.
Of course.
Word.
I mean, it's like, I was a music listener in general. So I mean, I was listening to Follow the Leader, but I was also going to CB matinees.
No doubt. I mean? Oh, word. You were right there. Yeah. You grew up
I was right there.
Yeah,
but, I was, to be honest with you, at that point, like I was just kind of a loner. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those shows I would go to by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because maybe a lot of kids probably weren't listening to that at the time.
Well, to be honest with you, the problem is, it's like, if you live in the project, you're going to have a few sets of friends.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my boys at the time, they didn't want to hear that shit. Yeah. A lot of people were closed-minded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
People don't want, if I try to explain to them, like, listen, you don't understand. Agnostic Front really sounds like this kind of thing. You could kind of, there's like a hip hop thing there too. You know what I'm saying? Like rhythmatically, it's not.
Yes.
A lot of people don't get it, but so people really didn't want to hear that. So I was like, all right, cool. You don't want to, you don't want to go see you for today? I'll go. You don't want to see Judge? Fuck it, I'll go.
Yeah, man. I did that too, actually, because I ran into the same issues. People like, I don't want to hear all that crazy fucking screaming and fucking loud music. And I'm like, yo, dude, it's all street music at the end of the day.
Listen, people don't even realize they've been listening to Slayer for 30 years on Public Enemy.
Yo, for real, dude. And Rick Rubin produced fucking Slayer.
Well, of course.
Of
course. So,
yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? But, there's always been a little schism and tension between, like both scenes. And it's like, it's not really, a lot of people don't pay the proper lip service to both genres because, maybe they're insecure about their musical history and knowledge, and maybe don't think it's cool. Oh, I just listen to hardcore hip hop. I don't want to, metal's whack. A lot of people are closed-minded like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Ultimately, I feel bad for people. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for anybody that wants to listen to hip hop, 48 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never lifting your head up to air. I wouldn't want to really do that. I mean,
no.
There's other good music to listen to.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not saying don't listen to hip hop, but I'm saying you're really missing out on like so many good artists by remaining, closed-minded.
Yeah, I couldn't listen to one genre forever.
No, man, I'm all across the board. I go listen to jazz, fucking country. I listen to everything. I think that's most people.
Whatever's good.
Yeah, bro, exactly. Good music is good music all across the board, right?
Now,
I agree, but that depends on the thing is the listener, the audience is usually not very, they're not very educated on that.
Yeah, no, the average person definitely isn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. Most people stick to the top 40, if you really think about it.
Well, because artists, if an artist in the 80s came out, would they rather, and they wanted to make money, would they rather be like NWA or Duran Duran?
That's true. Right, yeah.
You wanted that bread. You wanted just,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, Lord, do you want to talk?
There's nothing wrong with Duran Duran either, but
No. I mean, to each his own. Yeah, they got some good songs. Yeah.
Just be diverse.
Exactly.
Now, you want to talk a little bit about the old New York City, quote unquote, like Brooklyn?
Yeah, we grew up in Canarsie area, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Canarsie. I mean, I lived all over Brooklyn, but generally it's Canarsie and shit. Yeah, it's like a lot of stereotypical stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it's for me it's just like the hub of everything in the world. You know what I'm saying? For me it's just like it was the worst and kind of like the best place growing up. It was like good parts, bad parts, and everything pre-internet was a little different.
Yeah, so, right.
You go on the subway, you probably will get jumped.
yeah. Not so many hipsters around back then.
Nah, hipsters you couldn't go to those areas that have $3 million houses because you're getting a knife in your back and your jacket round. That's just the way it was. And every time we took the L train from Rockaway Parkway to the city, and I was with kids, that were maybe didn't live in the projects, right? I would always say, listen, if we're going to the city, bro, don't put on the $800 jacket and act like you're a fucking rock star. Don't do that on the train. Just don't do it on the train. Wait till you get out of the train if you want to rock it. You know what I'm saying? Just chill.
Yeah, you have to play it safe.
But no, of course. So these kids want to come on the train, and of course they get one of them gets knifed, one of them gets robbed instantly.
Yeah.
So it's one of those scenarios where if you really don't know, your surroundings, you really just you got to just know the code, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I got a lot of friends and fam in New York City, and a place like Williamsburg, Brooklyn now, some of my people were like, yo, back in the day, this fucking place was crazy, like gang shit and everything, and now it's fucking all hipsters, like hipster central.
Well, Williamsburg is a weird thing because originally it was all Jews from WW2. This is before anything. So Jews were there first. They had yeshivas. They had the whole neighborhood was pretty much their neighborhood, basically cut out, with what they had when they came as immigrants. And then maybe 15 or like 20 years later, the Latino community moved in. And, then that was something, that happened for a few years, obviously. And then it got really bad.
Yep.
Then somebody took, $300 million and decided to start kicking people out. Around 98, around 97 and 98, it started getting pretty weird in Brooklyn. Like I saw the first kind of steps that people were taking because I'd be down there and I see all these kids in Kansas, like walking around, like, I'm like, yo, these tourists or something? Like, there's a lot of tourists around here. Is there a parade going on? Like, no, what's up with that? And then you see, all the housing places, all the housing companies with their signs in the front and all these people getting thrown out. It took 20 years to get rid of everybody, to get rid of the so-called trash that they called.
Yeah.
They got rid of the trash, and they brought in all the rich surfers from Virginia, the billion-dollar tech people.
Yeah.
And all the tech people from San Francisco that bought real estate in Williamsburg. So there you go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And now it's $5,000 a month for a fucking box.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, man.
Well, listen, I got friends that live in situations like that, and I'm like, listen, bro, why would, it's like everybody does what they got to do, but why would you spend $2,600, right, on a one-bedroom with a closet? It's one big closet, bro.
That's insane.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen them. I know. It's insane.
They're like studios and shit.
Yeah, and another thing,
even one, you could get a one-bedroom, but I mean, if you're paying $2,600 for a one-bedroom, that's 400 square feet.
And again, you can't. All you're going to put is a bed in there. You're not going to get a dresser, nightstand.
Out here, you can get basically a fucking mansion for that price. In a month, you can get the nicest fucking condo you can find.
Yeah. Listen, for $2,500 on Long Island in Suffolk, you can get a nice 5-bedroom house.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt. Man.
I'm saying just some chill shit. I'm saying no mansion, just like some modest, nice backyard kind of, kick back shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't. Well, it seems like now people are kind of fleeing New York City with all this COVID shit going on. You've heard about. I have been out there. I was out there in the summer, but that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I mean, people are leaving L.A. and people are leaving New York. I mean, it's I don't, it all comes down to whatever gimmicks these people are pulling on us.
Yeah,
They're pulling new gimmicks every fucking day. It's something new.
Yeah.
So, people are leaving because they've had it. You know what I'm saying? They don't trust where the city is or where it's going, the leadership. People are pretty much finished, and a lot because they did what they did. And listen, I'm not going to say that, a lot of people died from the virus. I'm sure we all know somebody that knows somebody that got sick or something, and it's tragic and it's fucked up,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shit that don't make sense with that either.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff. It just seems, to be honest with you, like it pick and chooses who it wants when it wants to. It just does what it wants to do.
Yeah.
My friend's grandmother was 83. She got COVID. He thought she was going to die. He had a panic attack. 2 days later, she was home eating Domino's pizza.
Right. Damn, yeah, no, you ain't lying. I mean, that seems to be the case. And then, it's weird though.
What does that mean? She wasn't in the best of health either.
Yeah, I don't know.
COVID came and went. And then it's like 23-year-old kid dies.
Right.
Who never had a medical condition in his life, wasn't overweight, didn't smoke weed, nothing. He dropped dead.
That's why he didn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That was his mistake. But.
Do you think? Do you think it's a biological weapon originally?
I mean, it's definitely it's that, and it's some other shit.
Yeah.
It's something that we could not even comprehend and wrap our minds around what's going on right now. And I don't know if you've seen, but there's a movie coming out directed by Michael Bay.
Really?
Which is very shady. It's called Songbird.
No.
And it's just coming out, and it's like, what interests me is, how the fuck are you going to write, realize, and film a whole movie with CGI and a cast and release it during an epidemic? How did you have time to write the movie and do that?
Yeah.
And Michael Bay's a serious director.
Yeah, that's big time. That's big time Hollywood shit.
Exactly. So, it's definitely a lot of predictive programming going on, a lot of stuff that people knew about. Just like all those bankers and all the people from those finance companies that took their millions and billions of dollars and they split right before March.
Yeah.
They split right before March. So everybody knew something, especially people with money.
Yeah. All the CEOs and stuff that stepped down and all that. Remember, it was it 350 CEOs or some shit?
All those CEOs knew exactly what was going down.
I agree. Switching up a little bit, so let's go back to the music. 1990.
Yeah, no doubt, because we could.
1994, you linked up with Ill Bill and formed Non Phixion. MC Search as well from Third Base.
Well, I mean, me and Bill, we were doing stuff forever, but as far as the group situation, Bill was doing his solo stuff. There wasn't really any. At that point, there wasn't really any group stuff besides me and him. We had a group called Dead Celebrities.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Dead Celebrities was demo stuff, and that goes back to. I mean, that's a couple years before that. You know what I'm saying? But somehow we met Search. Search wanted to put together a quote unquote Wu-Tang style group. Okay. Yeah, I mean, people were throwing my name around. He called me up one night. I was at Bill's crib. You know what I'm saying? I spit for him, and we talked and shit, and that was it. He asked me to be in the group, and we rolled from there.
Yeah, and you guys, the first single, Legacy, you guys sold 24,000 units. Indie, that was pretty good.
Something like, I mean, they claim it was that, but I'm pretty sure it was more. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we put out Legacy with No Tomorrow as the B-side.
Classics.
And it was Necro produced the B-side.
Yep.
The A-side was produced by, I want to say, C-Style.
Word. So the original lineup and then Sabak joined. When did the whole group come together with Eclipse and Sabak and everybody?
Okay, well, Eclipse knew Search for quite a few years. He DJ'd for him on his solo tour. When Search had I forget the name of his album, but whenever Search had his solo album out, Eclipse toured with him and stuff. And then when they got back, and then Search had some ideas. Basically, Bill was kind of the first guy to join, and then Sabak, and I was pretty much the last.
So Non Phixion was actually Search's brainchild, the whole idea of the group?
I mean, it was an idea to put together a Wu-Tang style group, which I wasn't really down for. I was doing my solo stuff. It wasn't like Serge discovered us. We were already doing our thing.
Right.
But he wanted to kind of like unify a group.
Were you in?
We were like, all right, cool.
So you and Bill were dropping like demos and stuff like that, maybe rocking shows at that time?
Yeah. We were doing stuff like that. And we had Dead Celebrities, which we put on hiatus, but we had this other thing that was called Department of Forensics.
Oh, really? I never heard about that.
Yeah. Department of Forensics was pretty obscure. We did a 3-song demo. My man 10K, if people are still familiar, if they remember him, he did some beats back in the day for Non Phixion and stuff. But he was the third member of Department of Forensics, and we were going to drop something. But, Bill did a couple of records, and Serge came into the picture, so we put that on hold. But it wasn't like we weren't going to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people thinking like he discovered us and like we were just like, we've been doing our thing. Of course, when we got together, it was a little more of a high visibility. You know what I'm saying? Because Serge, at that point, Serge did his thing, and
Yeah. Now, and Bill had a metal band too. Were you involved with that band?
I mean that's so long ago. That's like when we were kids and shit.
Yeah.
Was I in the band? I wasn't in the band, but I was like behind the scenes.
Okay.
I was trying to get shows. I was trying to do my own fanzine. At that time, I was cutting out of school and doing interviews with like Obituary and Sepultura.
Oh, word. Dope.
That's a whole other topic. But when I was doing my magazine, Pill's band and Justice were also doing shows. They opened for Obituary and Sepultura. Their demos started getting popular in the underground. They got good reviews. It's just like he wanted to do other stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that was it. But it's like I was around for that. I was there when they wrote the songs, they performed. I was chilling just like I was in the band, but I really
didn't perform really.
Yeah, but you
were still active.
You were still a part of the band though, in another way.
In some way, like if they were rehearsing, they had a new song or a riff, I'd be like, that shit don't really,
You're doing production. You were the
advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was there when they did their demo when Josh from Typo Negative produced their demo.
Oh, really?
Demo.
Dope.
Which is strange, when you think about it, considering, what he did with Pete Steele and the other stuff. But this was back in the day. We went to his house in Midwood in Brooklyn on Avenue J. He had like a 3-story house. It just smelled like dog shit. Like 5 dogs and sick shit everywhere. But, so they recorded the demo there and stuff. And, it was definitely cool. But at that point, Josh wasn't, like he was with Typo Negative. Like he still, he hadn't gotten to his level of popularity and stuff. But it was cool.
Word.
It was cool. That's some real, that's some real back in the day shit. That's at the time, like when they were doing the band, I was doing a magazine. And, just from me calling labels, I'm like a little kid calling labels and at first they're not really taking me serious.
Yeah.
Oh, you sound like a little kid. What do you have? And I'm like, Atheist, Obituary, Sepultura, Violence, Testament, and Exodus.
Yeah, you were doing your thing.
All brand new features. Yo, I was going fucking hard, kid.
Yeah,
I was going super hard. So, labels understood that. So they were hooking me up with people. You know what I'm saying? I was able to get interviews. I was able to talk to people. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, like Creator was dropping Extreme Aggression. I don't know if you're familiar with that record.
I'm familiar with the band, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 89 or something. Anyway, that record comes out, and I instantly called up the label, and I was just like, yo, how could I talk to Mile? I would like to, and they were like, oh, you sound like you're 11. What do you want? I'm like, so you got to prove yourself. And long story short, you know what I'm saying? I set it up. And I called Bill at 8 in the morning. I'm like, bro, we're going to the city. He's like, for what? I'm like, yo, we're going to interview Mile, bro.
Wow.
And he didn't get it. He just, at that point, he was like, yo, what this is crazy. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you had, serious aspirations as a music journalist and stuff, and that's something you could have pursued.
Yeah.
Did you ever do anything with that? Music journalism?
I mean, the thing is, I had Tinted the Zine, and I was about to get it distributed, and it's kind of weird. I got into some weird fight with my ex, and it was just really fucked up, and she basically destroyed that. She basically destroyed all my work.
Oh, wow. Damn.
It's a bad hit.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's whatever. Everybody has, crazy ex stories anyway.
No,
Yeah.
But,
now, you want to talk about a little about you signing to Geffen Records?
Yeah, you guys had interest from Russell Simmons and Def Jam at one point, Non Phixion?
Oh yeah. You guys are going back. I got to clear out the chip on this one. Yeah. What happened with Geffen was, Search is like, listen. He's like, you fuck with me, I'll get you a deal in a month. He's like, if I don't get you a deal, we don't got to do any business. So, how could it hurt? And we were like, all right. We heard some weird stuff about him, but we were like, all right, listen, see what you can do. He asked us, what 3 labels would you want to be signed to? So I immediately said Geffen and Def Jam, whichever. He was like, all right, cool, let me see what's up. So, at that point, you know what I'm saying? He comes back and he's like, we got a meeting with Russell. I was like, okay. We were all like, damn, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
we were impressed, to be honest with you. We were very impressed. So at that point, Russell was living above Tower Records on Broadway in the Village. He had a penthouse above Tower. So we were like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We go up to his place. I mean, his penthouse was like, I want to say probably 15,000 square feet.
Wow. Oh.
I never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And, he invited us in. And, I mean, it was just, he had this, like, stairway in the middle of his kitchen. And the stairway went down, like, 3 floors.
Wow.
But it was just like this, wind-up. It's very hard to explain. It was super trippy. He was like, hey, you want something to drink? I was like, yeah. I'm in Russell Simmons' private penthouse. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's like, what do you want? I said, bro, anything. Water, whatever you got is good. He's like, do you want orange juice? I said, wonderful. So Russell Simmons is going to get me orange juice. You see what I mean?
That's fucking insane.
So, me and Bill are standing there. We're looking at each other. Like, yo, what is going on? And we look across the penthouse and we see a bed, like a big king-size California king-size bed, a big bed. And on top of there's like a metal frame. On top of the metal frame is handcuffs on the metal frame. So I'm like, I go to Bill. I'm like, yo, that's kind of heavy,
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on? So me and Bill are looking at the bed, and Russell walks in. He's like, he's like, you guys are looking at the bed, huh? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you like that? He's like, you like that? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, yo, this shit is fire. He's like, yo, that Cher's bed. He's like, she gave it to me.
Oh shit. Wow.
I'm like, that's heavy, bro. Cher's bed? He's like, yeah, it came with the handcuffs. So I thought it was cool.
I'm sure there was some interesting things that happened on that bed.
Those cups could talk.
I mean, this is, at that point, you're asking me about that situation. That's where my life was.
Yeah.
I'm standing in Russell's apartment, and I'm looking at his bed with handcuffs on it.
Drinking orange juice
that Russell Simmons poured.
Right. Exactly.
That must have been a bit of a, mind fuck. Like, wow, I'm really surreal,
It was weird. It was weird because at that point, remember, there really wasn't no internet.
Yeah.
So all the legwork and stuff was behind the scenes. You couldn't really see the moves people were making.
Yeah.
Now it's like, some rapper takes a crap, he puts it out with, he's got 10 vinyls a day and all this other crap and all this information.
Right.
Back then, it really wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But back to the thing. So, Russell was interested in us, and, searching like, oh, you guys, why don't you guys show him, which ultimately was a mistake, because one thing I've learned is, like, regardless if you're in any situation and, you're trying to do business with somebody that's interested in you, it's never a good idea to perform in front of them.
Really?
I'm just saying. If anybody's listening and they're like, oh, it's just don't do it. It doesn't matter if it's amazing or not. If you're amazing, it's just always better not to do that. Just for whatever reason. It's better just to get them the music, let them listen to it, because I mean, you know, we were ready to do something if that was the case, but it's just kind of like awkward.
Yeah.
You're at someone's house and it's like, hey, why don't you start rapping? Okay, cool. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah. Might be a turn off.
It kind of made it was a little awkward. I don't know about a turn off, but it's just a little awkward. Russell didn't mind, you know. I mean, ultimately he passed on us, so whatever, you know, I don't know what that means, but
now,
you know, long story short, yeah. What I was saying is that, you know, he passed on us, but in a week and a half after that, Search came to, you know, he came to the studio. He's like, yo, we have a meeting with Geffen.
Yep.
So, you know, that was impressive. And, you know, a week later, we're up there and, yeah, I mean, we got signed, which is a whole other, you know, that's like a whole other 2 hour.
Whole other podcast in itself.
Exactly.
So ultimately, the major label thing didn't work out for you guys, and you started releasing independent singles like I Shot Reagan, 14 Years of Rap, Black Helicopters, and
well, the major, no doubt. Well, the major label thing didn't happen, just briefly, because we had an A&R. This lady Wendy, who she signed a bunch of acts like The Roots. She signed Killer Priest without ever hearing his music.
Really?
Because Jizza told her.
Wow.
Jizza told her to sign him, so she signed it.
Wow, I wish that should happen nowadays.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, Priest got his deal, Large Professor, The Roots. And then, you know, then there was us. And, you know, once we got on the label, she was like, okay, we should maybe do songs like this. Maybe the verses shouldn't be so long. Let's do like a radio chorus. We were completely fucking confused. Completely confused. You know, we did a couple of demos for it. It just didn't really work out.
Yeah.
And the Geffen thing, unfortunately, that's when we had the situation with Search. So, and, you know, it's already out there. It ain't like, you know, if somebody really wants to look. But we had a situation where, you know, we called him stealing.
Yeah.
And, it happened more than once, and we wasn't having it. So, you know, I decided that we got to go to our person to Geffen, and you know, we got a $450,000 deal.
Wow.
And we got a small amount of money. So when we all need money, and some of us have kids,
Yep.
you can't tell us you ain't going to give us money when you out buying a car and you just bought a brand new Volvo off our back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely shady.
So, you know, that happened a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? You know, we were in the studio one night, our studio, which listen, it ain't in the top on Search, because the Search's defense, when we got the deal with Geffen, right?
Yep.
He said, listen, he's like, whatever happens, we're going to buy a studio with that. And that studio is yours, whatever happens. So, to his credit, you know, 'cause, you know, I've got messages from people like, yo, why are you bashing Search for? People are like, all of a sudden give a fuck. And it's like, no, I'm not bashing them. I'm just being truthful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the reality.
So,
of what
you
happened.
know, we got the studio, but he also made a lot of fucking mistakes and fucked up the whole deal for us and our future because of that. Yeah.
But you guys, you know, you started putting out the independent stuff. I mean, that's when I first heard you guys, like probably around actually, I think 14 Years of Rap was actually, I think, the first time I heard Non Phixion.
Oh, okay, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, the independent stuff was definitely the route to go. I think, you know, we might have got a little obsessed with trying to get signed to majors.
Yeah.
When I think we should have just went the independent route a little earlier than we did. The main reason for that is because as soon as we were ready to jump into the independent stuff, we actually had a contact that Rick Rubin was interested in us for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, we had the Warner Brothers thing. So we're like, all right, listen, let's go up to Warner Brothers and let's you know what I'm saying? Let's make this happen. You know, that didn't work out. And, you know, I mean, we should have just started a little earlier doing the independent stuff. Even though we were on board that, we just should have did it maybe 6 months earlier.
Did you get to meet Rick Rubin?
No, I never met him. We were at the Roxy one night, and I want to say it was a System of a Down show when they first came out. And they were wearing all that weird makeup.
Yep.
He was there with we were just sitting at a table behind him and shit. It was like a really small, intimate kind of thing. That we were supposed to meet him, but we never met him. So,
Word.
which is unfortunate because, you know, where I grew up, I was born. I mean, he was from the same area.
Okay.
Technically, I mean, he grew up about 5 minutes from, you know, Long Beach, where I was born, pretty much.
Yeah, and also a legend in hip hop and rock. You know, metal. You know, from Beastie Boys to Slayer. I mean, one of the best producers ever.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Rick Rubin is beyond a producer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even groups like Trouble. I mean, he's done so much different stuff besides just Slayer and
Johnny Cash.
He's amazing. Johnny Cash. I mean, Roy Orbison.
Yeah. No, he's definitely one of the most talented.
You know, the guy made some crazy records. You know, Californication. Even if you don't like Chili Peppers, you can't really say that record.
No, that's a good record. Yeah, definitely. I didn't even realize he produced that.
I'm a big fan of that record. A lot of people hate them, but I mean, I can't really front on that record. And, by the way,
Chili Peppers, the old stuff especially, man, is dope.
They have a lot of fucking classic songs, Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, so Rick Rubin was definitely like a production messiah. Definitely a big influence on us.
That's a good
especially during the Slayer era.
That's a good
during
way
the Slayer era.
That's a good way to put it. Production messiah. I would agree.
You know, word up.
And you guys had some interest from Paul Rosenberg too, right?
Yeah. I mean, what happened with that is, wow, you guys are going in right now.
We do our research.
Nah, no doubt. Good for a change. Somebody said something that Paul was interested in us and maybe had heard our record or something, and it was like, yo, who are these guys? I want to fuck with them. I don't know exactly what it was, but he had just started managing M, and he was bringing M to all the places in New York just to, introduce them to people and stuff. And we were at SOB's one night. I don't remember whose show it was, but he came with M, before M's record came out. Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just introduced everybody to M. And briefly, he was like, listen, we're going to talk and stuff. And it was really just a little back and forth stuff. And he just got too busy with him.
Word.
Yeah.
So you crossed paths with Eminem early on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember, he was in the dressing room downstairs standing by himself. Nobody gave a fuck about him. Nobody looked at him once.
Before his album and everything came out.
Right. This was before your Aftermath. Yeah. Well, he was working with a lot of... not to cut you. I was just going No, go ahead.
Yeah, he was in XXL. He was in a few different magazines, but he didn't do the trade thing yet.
Yeah. Well, he was working... I remember he was working with a lot of, underground artists, like Thurston Howell and Outsiders and stuff like that. And that's, I think, when I first started hearing him.
That's that's like right before he started doing that.
Yeah.
Like right when he did those records for Raucous.
Yeah,
a couple other things. So he was around, you know what I'm saying? But he was just like, super DL. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, he didn't come out yet. So,
and
his jacket looked 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
right from 8 Mile.
From 8 Mile.
Exactly.
Were you guys doing a lot of shows at this time?
We started doing shows. I mean, we started doing shows pretty much, almost like 6 months after the group started, we started doing shows. So we were definitely, we definitely did a bunch of stuff. I mean, when we were doing stuff with Search, he did get a couple of things. Echo was just starting to blow up, and they were doing these big fashion shows and stuff, and weird, musical fashion kind of stuff. So they flew us out to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? We did a big show for Echo. I think it was us. I think the Roots were headlining.
Wow.
And a couple other people. So yeah, we did some big shows around that point. Also Wetland, SOB. We did all the joints. You know what I'm saying? We did all those spots at least 5 times.
Word. Interesting story. I was working at a live music venue out here. It was called Lupo's. It's not called that anymore. But I was backstage, in the backstage area, and this is a big venue, probably holds 2,000 people. And there was a Non Phixion sticker on the wall, and I was like, "Yo, that's fucking dope."
Yeah, I heard of Lupo's. I might have been to Lupo's. I don't remember, but it sounds very familiar.
Yeah, I actually took a picture of it because I was like, "Yo, Non Phixion performed here." I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, there was really not that many. There really wasn't that many groups, and the underground at that time was fairly small. I mean, that wave was just really Company Flow, Non Phixion, The Arsonist.
Yeah.
the juggernauts. It really, there really wasn't that many people. I mean, to be honest with you, we defined all that shit.
Yeah, I agree. I think you
that
guys
kind of style. So did Cold Flow. I mean,
Yes.
he cut out. LP started cutting out his own thing back then, which I thought was super dope. You know what I'm saying? Even back then it was super dope. But he was on his own thing, and I always viewed it like, oh, company flow is that's some hipster shit, next level hipster shit. That's gonna blow up next year, 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we were doing, I thought, was more, more like Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep.
Yes.
That kind of, Big Pun, all that, just that kind of flavor. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were definitely a staple in the indie hip hop scene during that time. I mean, if you were into that, you knew Non Phixion. You know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing you guys in some magazines and stuff like that too. And I was like, yo, these dudes are just fucking dope.
Good looks, man. Yeah, we started to get some press. We never really, the problem is we never had a manager.
Oh, really?
And we never had a proper manager, and and that affected us. Because people like Company Flow, they had managers. They had management and stuff like that early on, and people helping us and hooking us up. We really didn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, Search did a couple things here and there aside from that, but I mean, after the fact of that, everything we got was our own. We didn't get any big tours because we know somebody or my father's this or that. Everything was we worked hard for any amount of press or any attention that we got. You know what I'm saying? Because
DIY.
it wasn't really DIY. We look different. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't really a lot of white. There wasn't no white Latino groups out. It didn't exist really.
Right.
It just didn't exist.
Yeah, you guys.
Doing the kind of music we did, it didn't exist.
Right. You guys were kind of a mixed bag. Like, just had a different image, but you were speaking real shit.
I mean, as far as the group, you have you have Jews, you have Mexicans. That shit does not happen in a New York hip hop group. It's just a creep show.
Yeah.
So,
but some of the best music.
I think we were. I think we were different from the beginning for a reason. Whether everybody got us or not, I don't know. But
I gotta ask you too. So you're definitely one of my favorite MCs, and you always had the dope, fucking random, obscure references in your rhymes.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man. I always thought you would say some shit, and I'd be like, oh, you just referenced some left field type shit.
I mean, it sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't because I just do it to entertain myself. If it keeps me interested, really. And then if people get it, cool. But I realize I've had people come up to me, fans even, like, yo, you're like one of them, I love your shit. I just don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, it's the type
but yo, I really don't know what the fuck you're on or what you're talking about, but I like it. So,
right.
Yeah.
So for me, I know what I'm talking about. But the thing is, it's sort of like, to really appreciate my stuff, I think as a listener, you just have to really just listen to something different. I'm not.
Yeah.
My punchlines aren't always at the end. My punchlines are at the beginning.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little backwards.
Yeah, sometimes you say shit and, someone might learn something because you might drop a name or something in a verse or...
Like a reference.
Yeah, a reference or something. And then
what does that mean?
You go and fucking Google it and you're like, oh, that shit, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? I actually did that a few times.
You did a lot when you're...
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if people can dig it, that's even better because, it's like I like to, if somebody puts me on the song, I'm like, oh, that's dope. And I'll take that with me. So it's sort of like I'll pay it forward if somebody gets something out of it.
Yeah.
I've had this kid from England hit me up. He's like, listen, I finally, after 12 years, I just found the Fat Mattress album.
Oh, word.
And for a minute, I was confused. But then I realized, I mentioned that it's a band, and people were like, yo, what's Fat Mattress? You keep calling yourself Fat Mattress. So, why? You know what I mean? Yo, why? What's up with that?
Was that a metal reference?
Yo, go pick up the. No, it's the old. Fat Mattress was No Redding from Jimi Hendrix after Jimmy died.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He had a band called Fat Mattress.
Oh, I had no idea. See, we just learned something right there.
Right. And, but it's rewarding in a sense because some of this shit is really fucking obscure.
Yeah, no, I know that. I love some of the references, man. You say some shit, I'm like, yo, and some of the shit I know, so I'm like, yo, but not too many. You don't hear too many people saying shit like that, you know, and it's like it's dope when you hear something, and you're like, all right, this dude's on some shit.
I appreciate it.
No doubt.
But you know, you know, I look at it like this, you know, and it's like just from doing this for so many years, you know, it could be looked at as a gift or a curse.
Yeah.
Because you know, some rappers are they're visually easy to see the punchlines and where they're going.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier just to get into that. You know what I mean? Well, I'm coming with like, you know, people haven't heard, you know, I'm coming with weird stuff sometimes. So people are like, yo, what is that about? You know what I mean?
Hey, but eventually people catch on, and if they don't, then maybe they just weren't meant to.
No, well, that's what it is. It's not, you know, I don't have aspirations where my next album's going to go platinum.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be top 3 on iTunes hip hop. I really don't care about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
some people
doubt.
do. Some people, you know, I'm saying like, you know, some dudes are chasing it.
Yeah.
I see dudes, you know, even now chasing that. Dudes that aren't 20 years old.
Right.
That's
yeah.
okay, but,
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm saying, listen, everybody should do what they love, but we all got to be realistic too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could say, oh well, yeah, if 15 years ago we got signed to Warner Brothers, I'd be in a different position now, or if, you know, the Geffen deal, you know, we'd be getting, you know, $900,000 advance for every record now.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's a lot of steps we took. So I don't really have regrets like that. You know what I mean? Of what could have, should have, and you know, blah 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 blah. It happens what's supposed to happen. You know, people who are supposed to listen to my music are going to listen to it. They're going to find it. I'm not going to share it 3,000 times. I ain't paying for services.
Yeah.
I'm not paying to get a blue star next to my name like everybody else does. I'm not doing that.
Well,
I'm not buying 20,000 followers.
Yeah,
I don't need to buy people. I'm not with all that shit. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, you're part of a major hip hop legacy in its own right. Either way, you know what I'm saying?
No, you don't really.
I mean,
have
no,
to.
I appreciate that. I mean, my lookout with this, I can't use the name Goretex anymore,
Right.
Because, you know, that's the whole other story. But you know, I'm not legally allowed to use that.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like I've taken a lot of hits by changing your name every 3 years. It's just not really. It's not really a normal thing to have 3 or 4 names in your career.
Unless you're like Cool Keith.
So, exactly. But, you know, people like that of him. You know, he can come out with, you know, a Matthew record next year, and it's completely accurate, you know?
Right.
But meanwhile, people are like, hey, I can't find your album. What, are you still Gory Lohim? It's confusing for people.
Yeah.
And all that shit, honestly, that shit fucked up my business hard.
Right.
But, you know, it's taking me this long. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been doing legwork this whole time. So if people see me out there doing this and that, it's because it's taken me this long after changing your name 25 times.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm here now. I had to reestablish myself. I reinvented everything. You know what I'm saying? And any negative energy that was tied to my old name, where people try to misconstrue or just create their own psychological weird, you know, that's a different character. Like all that negative energy, all the shit that people, all the haters, that shit is buried. So I started fresh, and I'm just adding on to that right now.
Word.
I'm not resting on my laurels. People could like the old music, but I don't really have too much of a connection to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I was just going to actually ask you about The Future Is Now, which to me is a classic. That album was a game changer for me.
I love that record too. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk a little bit about, making that album, working with some legendary producers and the critical acclaim it got, I mean, it's, to me, heralded as it's definitely a hip hop classic in my opinion. Like I said, it had a big influence on me being an artist, and the album, down to the album cover. That album cover is crazy. It's a hip hop classic, through and through, in my opinion.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, word. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a hard album to make. It was difficult. I mean, considering all the business issues we had, but musically, it was fantastic. And musically, it's probably some of the best experiences of my life. I mean, when I have to really sit and think about it.
Yeah.
Working, being such a huge Main Source fan and growing up with guys like Large Professor, and then, we're basically doing an album. He's doing, songs on it. I mean, absolutely bonkers.
Must have been a dream come true.
It's Pete Rock, Primo.
Yep.
Every one of those experiences. I mean, yeah, it was definitely mind blowing. I mean, it's all like it's almost like there was really no words at the time because I thought it was like I almost thought like the rug was going to be pulled from us any minute. It's a weird feeling, because I mean, maybe it was just paranoia considering all the stuff that we had went through. So what people don't understand is once you take that many hits, you start questioning everything. Like it's hard to find security in anything when you got to take those hits afterwards.
Word.
So
that's an interesting perspective. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you like second guess yourself. Probably.
I mean, just saying, like, okay, yeah, what if this album comes out and nobody gives a fuck?
Yeah, but that album became
and like honestly.
It turned out to be a classic.
I mean, the thing is, for some of those producers, like, some of them didn't work for free. We spent a lot of money.
I bet, no doubt.
So, I mean, Pete Rock is great. He's a big influence, but he could have bought a car. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Oh, damn.
I was still, he could have bought a car, and I was in the streets hustling.
Yeah.
I was in A, B, and C, and, we're paying all these guys money, and it could have went the other way. But more important to me wasn't really about the names. It was just about the musical experience that we shared.
Yeah.
Because to me, I didn't really care. Like, okay, we're going to work with Primo, which is was a dream come true.
Yes.
But it's more like, does he like our record? Does he respect us as lyricists?
Yeah.
Just like all the producers. You know what I'm saying? Do they want to work with us, or is it? Because if it's not, I'm good. I don't really, I don't have to work with somebody if it. Because for me, it's just about the energy. It's about the vibe.
Yeah. You want to make it organic and as authentic as possible.
I don't want it if it's not organic.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
And it was just great that all those dudes were just amazing. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, man, and amazing album. Like I said, it was a game changer for me. I still got my original copy. The CD's all fucked up, but I still got that shit. So.
No doubt.
You want to talk
specifically? Yeah, my bad.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it was a great. There was one situation where Large Professor came to the studio and he had his knapsack with him, and he busts out these two beat machines. And one of them was like it was this company called Insonic. It was the ASRX.
Okay.
It was like this little red box, and nobody had it before. He was the first person that had that machine. You know what I mean? And, he busted out the machine and he put a disc in, and the first beat he played was We Are the Future.
Oh, word.
From The Future Is Now. So, I mean...
That's a crazy beat,
in the studio, him playing that, so as soon as we heard that, it was, the pieces were coming together. It was just like magic. I was like, yo, how did you even come up with that? Like, how did you know that was so in tune to what we were thinking?
It was meant to be, the universe at work.
Absolutely. So, like I was saying, it was just on point. All those guys were creative. They wanted to be there, and that was more important to me.
Did you do a lot of touring for that album? I remember the DVD came out, the green DVD with the green CD. Did you guys rock a lot of shows
we
at
did
that
tons
time?
Of touring.
Yeah.
Well, we did tons of touring for that. Yeah. I mean, if anything, we over-toured. We kind of burned ourselves out a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it was great because every place we went, they already knew us.
Yeah.
It was rare that we had to actually work a crowd that wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
It was a rarity. It was a rarity. So I think at that point we would go there and every place was 500-600 people packed at minimum.
Nice.
We were like, yo, what the fuck?
Well, you guys had a cool following at that time, definitely.
Yeah. I think we did a show in Spain. And we never been there before. The promoter didn't tell us nothing about it, and we got there, and it was like 1,800 people, almost 2,000 people there.
Wow,
shit!
Packed in a small club, and we had no idea.
Wow, that's
so
dope.
On that level, at that point, things were starting to get a little weird in a good way, though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you guys were touring with the Beat Nuts at that time. Any other groups?
Yeah, we definitely did a couple of runs with the Beat Nuts. We did we did something with Souls of Mischief. I know we did. We toured with a few people, but offhand, I would say those are the ones offhand.
Word. Shows must have been crazy back then.
You want to talk a little
ridiculous.
bit? Oh, God.
No.
Talk a little bit about the independent hip hop scene in the late '90s, early 2000s.
You have companies like Fat Beats, and even before that, you have like Bobito.
Mm-hmm.
Bobito and Stretch were a big deal in New York underground hip hop, independent hip hop. They were huge, and I got to give them props. Even though they just did a documentary maybe a year ago. I don't know. They couldn't mention Non Phixion.
Really?
But
I haven't seen that.
They didn't. I mean, they didn't. I was told, they didn't mention anything from that particular era, which I think is kind of whack because it was special and people still care.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There's no reason why, and if anything, most of Non Phixion's legendary radio appearances were on Bobito.
Yes.
So, it's kind of weird we wouldn't be included, which makes sense. Everybody's always hated on us since day one.
I don't know
in
why.
a sense, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. If I could tell you that, I would have the magic secret.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like that era. Like I kind of came up in that era, and it seemed like there was a lot of dope, independent, quote unquote, underground hip hop, and you guys were obviously a part of that. There was, I remember going to record stores. There was always new singles coming out, and all these groups that I never heard of. That you didn't hear them. I maybe heard them on college radio, but you didn't hear them in the mainstream. And I thought it was a really interesting time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just a lot less artists, a lot less music. You were able to just kind of focus on something. Now everything is just like all over the place. So it was a special time. I think it was new. And when the scene is new and it's just building, there's always a lot of interest, and it's always diehards going there. People getting extremely dedicated. And, that's how you would build up a fan base at that point in those days. You would just keep doing shows.
Right.
And more people would actually show up to your show. I mean, this is before the internet became a toilet.
Right.
Everything was garbage.
That's a great way to put it.
People, if they felt it in their heart, they would be there for you. Put it that way.
Word. So in 2004, Non Phixion, broke up, took a hiatus. I don't know, but you guys also dropped the Green CD, which is another classic to me. I still listen to this day.
Yeah, I mean, the Green CD, the Green CD I like. I think it was a little premature. I think originally I wanted to make another album, like a studio album, rather than just throw that out. But it did well considering.
Yeah.
I think I did maybe 5 or 6 beats on that.
Oh, really?
It was cool. Yeah, I did like 5 or 6 things.
Dope.
Can't remember which ones off the bat. But it was a good time.
Right.
And we had good distribution, which was actually important at the time. So people could actually find our records.
Yeah, definitely.
Later on, that guy robbed us, but that's another story.
Yeah.
We could have 5 other podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to have you on for part 2.
Okay, well, part 2 will be robbery.
Yeah.
Part 2 is robbery and management, and theft. Right. No management and theft.
So...
I'll go back to what you were saying about the name changing. You have to change your name again, revamp your thing, starting Super Corbin Records.
Okay, basically, somebody ratted on me, and we all know who. So after that happened, I get an email from a lawyer, basically reading me my rights on why it's illegal for me to have my name and why I have to change my name and why I will be sued. So the rat sent them a link to all the merch I was selling in my store.
Yeah.
And then they basically came after me. It was a court situation. It lasted over 3.5 years, which fucked me up.
Yeah, no shit.
I worked something out with them, which technically, they don't even really want me to talk about, but it doesn't really matter because it's X amount of years.
Yeah.
They wanted me to change the name. I basically told them, fuck off, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
Originally the lawyer was like, well, that's not going to happen. I said, no problem. I said, I'm from the project. I'm going to put out 10 more records. You can sue me for nothing.
Punk rock right
You're going
there.
to sue me and get peanuts. You got nothing, brother. Good luck.
Well, you dropped the Electric Lucifer album under Gore Elohim. That's another dope album. If anyone out there has not heard it, go check it out, man. That's another banger. It kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, yo, I didn't even know this shit was out. I was like, oh, shit. Goretex is back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a double album. The production could have been better as far as the mastering. That's a whole other podcast. But, the mastering got a little fucked up. It was supposed to sound a little better. It wasn't supposed to be that lo-fi.
Yeah.
But it is. People, for whatever reason, some people don't have a problem with it. I'm not happy with it as far as, I like the songs, I like the concepts, the lyrics, and everything else. I'm just not happy with the mastering. But, I just keep changing names. They were on my back. I put out Electric Lucifer, and I get emails from the lawyer asking me, hey, why are you using Gore? Hey, Gore, why are you using Gore?
Really?
We had the trademark since 1972.
Wow.
We have the trademark. Stop using Gore. I'm like, yo, you guys want me to fucking hang myself or what?
Wow, dude. There got to be some bands with the name Gore too, right? Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing,
That's crazy.
There's 25 metal bands with the name Gore in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it don't make
but
sense.
But the main problem is this. The main problem was in the legal world, it's like a likeliness issue. So if I continue to call myself Gore, it's still because the fans know me as Goretex. It's still putting that in their mind.
Right.
And there's legal terminology for that. Why I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's just all bullshit. Sounds like though.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. The lawyer was like, look, man. He's like, I understand. And he was sort of cool. It wasn't like the lawyer was an asshole.
Yeah.
But I was like, look, fuck you, pay me. And they had to do what they had to do. They gave and they did that.
Yeah.
So but the point is, I mean, it's just funny to me because they wanted to X me out. And now look at all the deals they're doing with Supreme. They want to have this urban hip-hop presence. They're dying for hip-hop people to buy their product. They are dying now.
And you were a representation of the real hip-hop shit, and now...
I was wearing their clothes when... Bro, I was wearing their shit when nobody cared about it. People were like, who the fuck is Goretex? What is that shit?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, man.
And I told them that. I was like, yo, we could go about it a different way. Because it made me curious about Everlast. Everlast was a boxing company since 1958.
Right.
How was he able to use the name?
That's a good question. I wonder if he ever ran into any legal trouble.
He had to have.
Yeah.
But I think he probably, he's in a better position than me, so he might have said, listen, I'll give you X amount to use the name.
Yeah, he might.
Yeah, you could have bought it out.
But, how does that work? Everlast is obviously the boxing company, been around for a long time. But, so no one else can use that name in a different context? They have the permanent trademark for that name for everything?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's copyright.
It's like any company. If you wanted to, if you want to make a luggage company and call it Samsonite or Samsung, it's like there's everything is trademarked, and everybody's looking for a way to just come after you. So I had to write a letter. The lawyer told me, listen, if you want to handle this, why don't you write a letter to W. Gore, who ironically just died last year.
Really? True.
Yeah. So I wrote this guy a letter, and I was like, listen, man, I'm a businessman. There's all sorts of the world's crazy. I got kids. You can't just knock my name off after 10 years, and I have a worldwide fan base.
Right.
Let's work together. Don't fuck me.
Yeah. Well.
So long story short, anyway, 6 months later, he did the right thing by me as far as that. It wasn't anything super extravagant. I couldn't build a castle. I couldn't go out and buy a fucking brand new Beamer, put it that way. But I was able to get from A to B and do what I got to do.
Well, at least they did that.
I'm not gonna shit on dudes,
Yeah, no doubt. So what was it, around 2015, Non Phixion, that you guys kind of got back together and started a tour? That's because I had never seen you guys live back in the day, but I remember going to that show. You guys performed out here at the Worcester Palladium.
Okay. Yeah, we you know, I mean, you know, the 10 years that we were in a group wasn't my choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a whole other podcast.
We got a lot of different podcasts.
You know, let's just say it was, you know, there's a lot of foul stuff going on.
Yep.
And I was taking the brunt of it for no reason because 97.2% of it was fucking lies.
Yep.
But, you know, I'll be whatever you want me to be. You know what I mean? If you don't want to do the research, you know I know who the fuck I am, I don't care.
Yeah.
You could think what you want, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So, you know, because of that stigma, that created problems for me because, for example, I'm trying to book an Australian tour in 2007 where I'm doing 6 or 7 shows and I'm getting like 50 G's.
Yep.
You know, we put that together. At the last minute, you know, I get an email from the promoter saying, listen, I'm sorry, my boss really can't book you right now because of some stuff he heard about you.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. I was like, really? I'm like, really? What did your boss hear about me? He's like, oh, well, you know, this guy, you know, we all know who. He said you're an alcoholic and you're a junkie and can't even stand up to perform. I mean, unbelievable stuff. Number one, I'm not a drinker. I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking lush. I smoke weed. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole other topic. But the thing is, that fucked me up for a minute because of the breakup.
Yeah.
So it looked like, oh, he's the bad guy. Okay, cool. You can think whatever you want to think. You know what I'm saying? And through all that shit, I was a gentleman. But let me tell you something. The day I decided to become not a gentleman,
yeah,
it ain't good.
No doubt. Well, you seem like a gentleman to me.
You know, so, you know, I'm a fucking sweetheart with me being as nice as I am and taking that on the shoulder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But ultimately, you guys reunited and you know, started doing shows and stuff.
Yeah. We got, to get back to the original question. You know, we finally got back. We did a secret performance at Haunted Hill show with La Coca.
Yep.
And I believe that was with Cypress Hill. And, I mean, you know, that was a weird show, but it was great because, you know, we all hung out, you know what I'm saying? We spent time together in that venue and in that capacity of just like, you know, aside from music shit, you know what I'm saying? I know Bill since he's 13.
Right.
So, you know, when you're, you know, like, you know, we had the friendship and which, you know, we always had, but, you know, brothers fight sometimes, and sometimes shit gets weird.
Absolutely.
So, wasn't my choice. But okay, you know. So, you know, we get back and we started doing tons of shows. Again, great response. You know, everything's gravy. And you know, I thought we were ready to do a record. I know me and Bill were. It wasn't the time at that point, you know. And it wasn't bad. Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on the same page now. You know, I can't really say what's going to happen, but you know.
Well, hopefully you guys.
I have good vibes about it.
Yeah, man.
From what I know, I got good vibes.
Well, what I'm hearing, I mean, the songs, you know, the new joints that I'm hearing, it, you know, with all three of you guys, I mean, hopefully that could turn into something, another project.
Yeah, I mean, I like the last thing we did, which, you know, some people have it confused. It's not a new Non Phixion song.
Yeah.
It's on Bill's solo record.
Right.
But I think we need to just get into the studio and vibe and just create, you know, create some new stuff.
No doubt. I hope that happens.
And for fans listening to people, because I get messages all the time. You know, yes, the Bach is in the picture. He is in the picture. You know what I'm saying? We're all, you know, we're all communicating. So.
Well, hopefully you guys get in there and drop you know, a new album or EP or something.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, me and Bill have material anyway.
No doubt. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
You know, we're sitting on stuff right now. So.
Word. I can't wait to hear it.
A couple years ago, 2017, you're on another dope album, Heavy Metal Kings, Black God, White Devil, which is a fucking fire, fucking album.
Man. Absolutely is.
Good looks, man.
How did you get involved with that project?
I mean, these guys were going pretty heavy with the last Heavy Metal Kings record, and you know, I just think us getting together at the time, we were just chilling a lot. Everybody was just hanging out. It was sort of just an organic thing.
Word.
You know what I mean? It's like it's sort of being vague at the same time because it's like I'm on a bunch of songs,
Right.
which ironically have the old name, which I was on the fence about because I really wasn't sure. This is before I actually had to change my name again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I might get sued, but fuck it because I don't care. You know?
Well, I think Lord Goat kind of fits the whole heavy metal vibe anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I had some weird dream one night, and I was just kind of bugged out, and that kind of came into the picture. Listen, not everybody loves the name. That's okay. I'm not trying to change the world. It is what it is. But how many names am I going to have?
Definitely not trying to change your name again.
It gets a little ridiculous. So it's in a sense, yeah, no doubt, it's sort of influenced by almost a non-hip hop entity.
Right.
But it's also a hip hop entity because people used to call me Goat before even, not because a greatest of all time kind of thing, just because of the art of dying. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because of the cover and stuff.
Yeah. So that was that. Then it was just like a play on words. It's sort of funny because I'll be, there's 65 rappers now called Lord. Lord.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, why not? I'll be 65. Cool.
So actually,
I mean, there's no.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, listen, if I could come up with a better name, I'd love to change it, but it's getting kind of ridiculous now.
Well, I think the name's dope, and obviously, and this brings me kind of to my next question. But you're a heavy metal fan, and the whole goat, black goat, with the whole satanic vibe from heavy metal and everything, kind of plays with the whole Heavy Metal Kings hip hop group. So I think it's dope.
No, I appreciate it.
But what I want to ask you is, you kind of already touched on it earlier, but I know metal and hardcore and punk rock and roll have been a big influence on you coming up. What are some of your favorite bands, like, of all time?
Oh man, you mean like hardcore metal, or just like in general, or just?
All right, let's stick with metal. Let's stick with metal and hardcore.
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, definitely the first 4 Sabbath records.
Yes,
absolutely. I don't know. I mean, definitely, of course, Slayer, Helloweight, Rain and Blood, the first 4 Iron Maiden records, the first 7 Judas Priest records, Dio. It's endless, I mean, the first 3 Metallica records, Exodus, San Francisco Thrash, I mean, Autopsy.
All classics.
It's all over the place, though. It's all over the place. I mean, Breakdown, Crackdown, Neglect. I mean, it's honestly, bro. It's I can't even tell you what the favorites are because I have like 300 favorite albums.
No, I hear you. I'm in the same boat when someone asked me, so I just figured I'd pick your brain a little bit.
I mean, like Miles Davis, Live Evil. That's a brutal one. I mean, it's not metal, but
no, Miles Davis is great.
Cro-Mags. I mean,
yes,
even shit like the Carpenters. To be honest with you, I listen to a lot of different stuff. To me, Carpenters is just as heavy as like I Hate God.
Oh, I love I Hate God too. They kill it. Do you like the? You a sludge metal guy?
I would say so.
Electric Wizard.
Of course.
Yeah, man.
See, I mean, the thing about Wizards is like I liked them when they were a demo band, and like 22 people knew about them.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was friends with one of their roadies, and to be honest with you, all those guys were into hip hop. They just didn't.
Really?
It wasn't cool. Yeah, they couldn't talk about it.
Wow, yep. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, that guy just knows. He knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? He knows he's not going to come out to my show and bang his head.
Yeah.
But those guys were very aware of what I was doing, and specifically, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Super Coven is my record label, it's my movement. but it's also one of their records. It's not like I'm trying to say, I came up with it, or
true.
If you know, if you know, you know. So you know, he knows what the deal is. You know, he's not. He thinks it's wacky. You know.
Yeah.
He thinks it's like it's so heavy and strange. He doesn't know if he could get it. The aesthetic is so heavy for him. It's too much. Like he doesn't. You know. But you know, he knows what's up. But I mean, you know, Electric Wizard. You know, I was one of their first, you know, supporters in America. You know, years and years ago. Now, unfortunately, you go to a Wizard show, you see kids trying to mosh. It's very embarrassing.
How about
the kids? You know, it's like, yo, you can't. Don't try to dance or don't do none of that. Don't do it.
Yeah. How about that Sleep album? That's like an hour long. You ever listen to that?
Of course.
Yeah, that's a crazy album right there. I was smoking a lot of weed when I listened to that one.
No doubt. I mean, you know, it's generally the way to listen to it. It's hard to listen to a 15-minute record.
Yeah.
Generally. But, you know, I mean, listen, there's all sorts of good stuff. Pentagram, Old Cathedral. I mean, we can go on forever.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a whole other podcast.
Podcast number 8.
It's all other podcast, you know?
Yeah, man, definitely.
So,
It's weird, but, you know, the stigma is people think because if you're saying you're not listening to Wu-Tang and De La Soul and all this, you know, or just hip-hop 24 hours a day, and you talk about other music, people think it dilutes who you are or, like, what the music means to you or how important it is to you.
Yeah, no,
Just
definitely.
because you like a different kind of music. So I think that's changed a little bit for the better with the internet.
Yes.
People listen to different kind of stuff. You know, like people, you know, I meet people like, hey, listen, I love Ghostface. You know, I love punk, and I listen to Autopsy.
No doubt, man. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. You know, why be stuck in one fucking lane when there's so many?
Well, you know, that's probably one of the only cool things about the advent of the internet is because, you know, the music thing where people discover things, you know, and they become fans of different genres. They're not stuck on the same thing. Why would anybody want to listen to the same thing all the time? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So a few months ago, you actually came out, for people that don't know, with the new record with Stu Bangas, Final Expenses.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, you know, I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, Stu, that record, me and Stu talked about that about a year ago, maybe a little longer than that. And the kind of beats he was sending me was just really vile.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, his beats are.
I hadn't really seen him do beats that grotesque. So it was definitely an influence. I heard him, and I just immediately, you know, conceptualized a bunch of that stuff. And, I mean, he has so many beats. The guy is super talented, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
He makes so many beats that it's hard for me to keep up, honestly. It takes me a minute to write. You know, I'm not like some of these dudes, like, you know, I got it, you know, it takes me a minute because it just does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone has a different process.
Yeah, everyone has a different process. So he's got tons of stuff. And, you know, he just continually makes stuff. So he's just he's a bugged out dude to work with. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know, the concept, it's like loosely based, you know, almost like on like this Italian flick, like this futuristic, you know, like, you know, thing from like, you know, the 21, you know, 16 or something, but it's like almost retro. It's you know, the songs are just about pretty much a day in the life, kind of, you know, if you really analyze them.
What's the name of the movie? What's the name of that movie?
I think I forgot. I gotta get back to you on that.
Yeah,
like,
let me know because I'm.
Like, yeah, definitely, absolutely.
But the album came out though.
No, I appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's you know, it took a second. You know, some people are like, oh, it's just never happening because it takes Gore so long to make records. Yeah, it does for whatever reason, and most of that's not in my hands. Most of it's not my fault.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But I really wanted this record to stick.
Yeah. No.
So much music is coming out. It's like it has a nice package. It's got great. It looks nice, and some of it's so fucking bland. You don't even remember that shit in a week.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And you just dropped some vinyl with that too, right? You did a vinyl release.
I put up the pre-order today.
Oh, it's a pre-order.
Vinyl,
Okay.
Yeah, I wish it was available right now. The pre-order is December 9th.
December 9th.
And that's because every pressing plant is packed up with so many garbage underground records that they're making. Now I gotta wait.
And where can people cop that when it's out, the vinyl release?
SmokeOnRecords.com.
SmokeOnRecords.com. Okay, cool. So everyone out there, when the vinyl drops, make sure you go out and cop that, because right now artists ain't touring, and we all need the support.
Yeah, cop it. I mean, besides that, I really took a lot of time into the packaging, and I think it's a nice piece. You know what I'm saying? And besides a nice piece, there's probably something on there. You know what I'm saying? That somebody might connect with if you know what time it is.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Besides the artwork, so I'm happy at least. You know what I'm saying? The vinyl looks cool. We're doing CDs. We're gonna do cassettes.
Word.
And just I'm keeping it moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm already working on the next one. I got 2 other projects coming out.
Yeah, actually,
just keeping it moving, man.
You got some new projects in the works. Anything you could speak on?
Me and Q Unique got something dropping pretty soon.
Oh,
trying to figure something out.
Dope, man.
Yeah, this shit came out heavy, bro.
Word, man.
Yeah,
Look
shout
forward to
to
hearing
you.
that. Yeah, man. Good dude.
Yeah, man. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
So we got that coming out. I think it's heavy. We got this joint called Chub Rock. That's going to be one of the singles. Yeah, we got some stuff. Me and Bill got a project, which is just me and him.
Oh, yeah?
Other shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't even talk about it, but that's what I'm saying. That's in the pocket. We got shit for that already. Before,
Word.
You know?
No doubt, man.
Me and Recognize Ali, we got a project coming. Ali is doing his thing right now. Everybody should check his shit out, too.
No doubt.
He's got a lot of releases. He's on it. He's doing a lot of legwork right now. Me and Sunday, we got a project coming out. It's like an EP. That's probably like the end of the year. It's a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to overboggle people, but
got you.
Just follow and just see what it is, and it is what it is.
Yeah, man. Well, I look forward to all that. I think all the fans out there definitely will as well. Anything else you want to touch on, like any UFO alien type shit, or that might be just another podcast?
Number 9.
I mean, you already know that's another podcast.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other, what's going on and the history of that's a whole other gimmick.
80s porn stars.
Oh shit, that's a whole other gimmick.
We're gonna have to have you back to talk some of that.
Yeah, Chasey Lane, Vanessa Del Rio, Amber Lynn.
I wonder if they're still active. Any of them?
They were active in the 80s.
Christy Canyon is active.
Really?
Christy Canyon is about her business, man.
No doubt. Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Listen, everybody listening, forget about the records. Forget about everything I just said. It's irrelevant. Go check out Christy Canyon's new stuff.
Maybe I'd have her on the podcast.
Well, maybe we'll hear a Lord Goat song on one of her movies or something,
Oh, dude, that would be fire.
We try to make that happen.
I'm still such a mark for her, It's weird.
Do you want to plug some of your social media, your websites, any contacts you got? People can get a hold of you and stay active.
I mean, I generally hate that kind of shit, but I guess the Lord Goat on Instagram. Check it out. Follow.
There you go, guys. Lord Go on Instagram.
I really, check it out. I mean, it's a necessary evil, but I think the whole social media thing's out of control right now.
Right now, you
ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying.
It's crazy now. They censor everything, and
this guy was in Facebook jail not that long ago.
Fucking for nothing, dude. I didn't fucking post anything on Facebook. Post on Instagram. Facebook kicked me off.
Well, listen, Facebook is a it's a police company. Facebook is Facebook is FBI. It's CIA.
Yeah.
They're listening. They're in your messenger.
Oh yeah.
I've had my messenger looked in. I've had pictures deleted while they were being sent to me from a friend of mine. They were deleting them as they were coming through. Yeah.
Jesus.
I've had something similar like that happen to me a couple times.
You know what's crazy? That's crazy.
It's scary.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, it's a whole other thing. But people should understand that there's nothing private in those messages. There's no privacy there.
unfortunately, it's tough, like in this era with social media and the internet and everything, to stay away from it at the same time. You know.
Yeah, but the problem is people are still talking about everything under the sun.
Oh yeah.
Dude, yeah.
On those platforms. When
look at the Snapchat I just showed you.
Watching and listening, and people are recording. Well, you can't.
Bro, I've had people hit me up on various social media platforms with the craziest shit that I would never. Yeah, I wouldn't even talk about on the phone. So never mind fucking Facebook. You know what I mean?
And that shit's saved forever too. It doesn't go, just because you delete it off your phone doesn't mean it's fucking. They got it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then you get fucking subpoenaed to court.
People are ODing on that, of course.
Oh yeah, man. They don't even think. They just automatically go to their social media and start showing pictures of everything and fucking all this bullshit, man.
I mean, I think a couple years ago, people were a little aware of it. Like, okay, this is getting weird. Now, it's a circus.
Oh, it's
and
a huge
there's no way
circus.
back from it. And it's between that and it's like, there's like 500-600 new chicks every day. I mean, I'm not even looking for it. It just wind up like naked on a line of like where it's just crazy, bro. I don't even get it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't either.
It's crazy.
It's mind-boggling, and that's a whole other podcast.
Yes, we got 10 podcasts.
We got Lord Go coming back. We're gonna do a fucking 10-part series. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to Truck Jules in the building. Definitely grinding right now. He's working with me. You know what I'm saying? He's got his own projects coming out, but we're definitely in the lab and shit. Shout out to Vinnie Paz. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to Jack. Whoever's listening, you know what I'm saying? Whoever supports. Shout out to Danny Diablo.
No doubt, my
brother.
brother.
Shout out to just whoever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no
bro.
doubt. Shout out to all the goons.
No doubt, man. Well, thank you for coming on. It was an honor to have you on. It was a great discussion, and maybe we can get you back, talk some of this other shit in the near future.
Yeah, for sure.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. As long as we can just talk about Christy Canyon.
Yo, we can. We could dedicate a whole podcast to her on the 80s porn stars. I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, I'm with it.
We got a lot of shit in the works like that anyway.
Bro, how about for part 2, you contact her and we'll just do a phone call.
We should try to make that happen for real. Yeah, let's do that.
Yo, bro,
you might have some links to that. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end the show with Mystics and Bally featuring Ill Bill, new track off that Final Expenses album, Lord Goat and Stu Bangers.
Yeah, make sure you guys go grab that album too.
Great album. And once again,
shout out to Stu Bangers.
Yeah, shout out to Stu Bangers. Thank you for coming on, and we'll talk soon.
There you go. Thank you so much for your time.
Much
we appreciate it. Don't forget to check out his album. Street Corner Soapbox, we're fucking out of here.
Peace.
Emphasize the fact that you cannot separate drugs from the occult. I have met many druggies who were not involved in the occult, but I've never met anyone involved in the occult who's not involved in drugs. They go hand in hand. You cannot separate the two.
I leave a pen sticking out your throat, young pest. Faking suicide, same way they hung Epstein. I spill the blood like Hanneman, raped by cannibalistic savages. Turn your fucking family to sandwiches. Drown you with hellhounds, the hellhammer, spellcaster. Excel fast up, I spit like Jimmy played a Telecaster. Stuffed peppers and crushed leathers, money getters, rust berettas. Over a murderer's grudge of vendetta. Deuce in my left pocket, shotty in the holster. Fuck karate, tonight I'ma catch a body with the toaster. Show swirling like color vinyl. Now you in hell burning while tears smudge the words of your mother's volume.
Where they were actually peddling drugs, and the drug group was associated with the occult. Even the house they were in had on the door of the garage a huge pentagram. And then on the inside of the house, you could see on the walls the pentagram, the S, which stands for Satan, and the heavy metal posters that reflect the occult involvement. They know they exist, and that is the dangerous part about the occult.
We oblivious to the Rico Act, and the Rico with the speakers black. The powder in the palm sleeve stacks, hit you for 3 stacks. You never bust guns in your Peloton, said temperament coke. The nozzle at your workplace, anybody for smoke. V-mix, hit the stove, Marley Marl, 2 for 60. Fiends like Mackenzie Phillips, or older mommies like Christy Brinkley. My grill like the Zodiac sketches. Never catch me on direct sales. Indictment with a pound of lettuce. Gandolfini, true romance. Moving like old Roxy's. Dance like they murdered for blue Oxys. Simmons and know me, slick work like the old Cosby. Glenwood Projects, control the drugs on my old lobby. Bypassing alarms, dog packed and marked bills like Pacino Dog Day. My dog spray, spit out your grills, sweet bricks like Steven Stills. Train your plasma leaders, pop locking the windmills. Maharishi, your cult leader.
So they actually use the goat head as a symbol of their religion. Now, this is a transformation, lycanthropic transformation. But what I want you to see and understand more than anything else is that the symbol of lycanthropy happens to be the teeth. And anytime you see teeth that is reflected in whether in a poster or even if it is in an album cover, like the one Ozzy Osbourne